Hello again, Izzy at Digital Goja Showrooms. I've come across this question on customer service on YouTube. How do I fix the issue that I'm having with neutral density filters when I'm getting a color shift, and also on some of them I'm getting like these X's across the image? If this video helps you out, remember to hit us up with a like button underneath and subscribe to our channel for future tutorial sessions and unboxings, and to share with fellow photographers. And also, don't forget, when in Miami, visit me at Digital Goja Showrooms. Now, the color shift tends to happen pretty much all across the board, especially when you're doing with exposures that are longer than 5 stops. So when you're working in combination with the really dark, here I happen to have the separate individual filters. Here I have a kit from Altura that has an ND4, ND8, and ND2. And a lot of us also tend to stack them to try to get even more f-stops combination. But when you start doing this, you're starting to get the issue with color shift. So the only way to really combat that is to work with the less neutral density ones, or you have to do some post-production work and try to do your editing after the fact. And I mean, yes, it's difficult, but if you're shooting raw, you should be able to fix that color fringing shift that occurs afterwards. And then this also occurs with the variable neutral density filters that are on the market, where you can actually turn it and change your neutral density capability. And this happens all across the board. Doesn't matter which brand, whether they're glass or the polycarbonate plastic that are being used today's filters, because they make them lighter and more efficient to carry. You have to take that into consideration. And you also run another risk when you're working with the variable ones, that sometimes, since these are manufactured with 2 filters, you start getting that X design across the image. And this becomes more prominent when you get into the much darker neutral density settings. So you have to take that into consideration also, that you might have that issue when you work with the variable neutral density filters that are on the market. And believe me, it's straight across the board. I mean, I've tried some of the really expensive Heliopan and B+W, and you tend to still have that color shift and sometimes that X design. Take into consideration this will occur the longer your exposure is. So it's something that we have to deal with, but guess what? It becomes easier to fix if you work with raw files. You could do some fixing later on post-production, and also take into consideration that you can do shorter exposures and try to work that way to try to combat the color shift and that pesky X design on your images. Haven't seen it occur in video, so this is basically primarily a still situation. In video, I haven't come across drastic color shifts, or of course that X marking the spot, as they say. Happy shooting.